Hi, good morning. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're doing well. I was just thinking about finishing up this project that I started, and I forgot to record the whole thing, but I figured you can watch me just finish it up, and then we can talk more about it. I am making a wooden frame clutch. However, the material that I'm using is sequins. I don't know who doesn't love sequins, but I love sequins. So you're just gonna watch how I finish this up. It's a beautiful day out there. Feels really nice outside. It's about to go running. But I just thought I'd finish this first. So I'm getting to the corners, and all I'm doing is just attaching the lining to the main bag. And then I will attach the frame once that's complete. So when you get to the corners, you have to be really careful because it's a lot harder to maneuver. So what you want to do is to go as slow as possible, just so that you get all the corners in. And just back stitch a little bit because it's a corner and you want it to be as strong as possible. This may require a little push because it's a sequence fabric, and so maybe a little harder for the machine to sew through it. Do the side. So you have to leave some opening to turn, because this is where I started. I don't know if you can see that, but I started over here, and so I want to leave at least about 2 to 3 inches to turn the bag. Alright, so I finished sewing the lining to the main bag. I'm just going to trim the edges. You don't want to have a lot of bulk because this is the part that goes into the frame. If you have too much bulk there, then it would be hard to insert it. So all I'm doing is just trimming the edges. And okay. So this is what it looks like before I even turn it. We have the stabilizer in here. It's a heavyweight stabilizer and it's soft and easy to work with, so you can fold it or just, and it still takes its shape. And then we have a pocket hanging out here. It's a zipper pocket, so you only see the zipper when you turn it. Alright, so this is my little 2-inch turn spot, which sometimes I like to keep a larger space to turn. It may be a little bit of work to work this thing and pull it out as slowly as possible. You don't want to rip it at this point because you already worked so hard to can get here. Alright. Ooh, my lord. I love this color. It's so beautiful. I've been wanting to make a wooden frame clutch in this with this material for so long. Oh, that is so beautiful. Alright, so what you want to do is just to try to pull the lining in, and I use some clips to hold it down so that I can top stitch it. Alright. Just in some more, so that's where the opening was. I'm just going to hold it down and clip it. That way I can top stitch the opening as well as all around the bag. Because the top stitch really helps keep the bag in position. Where's that thing? Box. And you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because it helps me keep the bag straight. That way I don't have to worry about it when I'm sewing. I love my sewing machine because it's called a modern quilter. I don't quilt, but I love what it does. I don't have to use the foot pedal. It has like a start and stop button right on this side, and I really enjoy it because you can just start and then stop and not have to worry about like pushing it on your feet. But yeah, so let's do this. What I'm gonna do now is to just top stitch it. I trimmed it, and then I trimmed the bag, and then I turn it inside out, and now we're about to top stitch. So just take it to the foot, place it under your foot, and sew about an eighth of an inch. You always want to back stitch at the beginning, and then just run with it. So I got to the corner, and you know how thick the corner is. All I'm doing now is just to try to push the lining in as much as I can and flatten it so that the machine can go through very easy. Okay. We are approaching another corner over here, and I just need to work it so that the lining stays under. We don't want to see the lining on top. When it gets to the actual corner, just slow down a bit. That way it doesn't break your needle. But my machine is pretty good, and it can take like pretty amazing thickness. However, that doesn't mean I should feed it to the thickest thing that I can come across. I stitch when you cross over and cut the thread. And voila, it is done. The bag itself is done. That's what it looks like. You see it? That's what it looks like. Done, and I top stitch the top there. And over here is, oh, the other side is where the zipper is. So we have a zipper down here. So there's a zipper pocket in there. And so the bag's done. All I need to do now is to attach the frame. So let me get the frame. Ooh, there's glitter everywhere. Alright, so this is these are all the material that I will need to attach the frame. If you don't have a drill, it's okay. You can just use a screwdriver to do it. But I make a lot of this, so having a screwdriver to screw it, screw every time is just very tedious for me. So this is the glue that I use. It's called Tacky Glue, and you can find it at any craft store. And so I like this one because it has the dispenser tip. It's quite small, so you can actually fit it to the holes of this frame. Okay, so I like this a lot, and you can it comes with a flat cover that you can just set it down upside down. That way the glue's always down here and ready to go, as opposed to keeping it this way and then trying to bring the glue down. I love this a lot, so I buy a lot when I go to Michael's or Joann and stuff like that. So what you're gonna do now is to just take the glue and try to insert the glue as much as you can in the two different holes here. So all I'm doing is just dropping the glue in, because you want to glue it down as well as put in the screws. The glue is just to help it hold it in, and then the screws are supposed to secure it quite well. So it's hard to push this thing, but one side is done. As you can see, I inserted glue in one side of it. So I'm going to do this other side now. Alright, so that is done. I need to get one. Oh, actually I can use this. So once you're finished inserting the glue, you want to spread it out as much as you can. You can use the tip of anything that is sharp, not too sharp though, but something that has a tip. You can either use the small scissors or use your ripping, I don't know what this is called, ripping shear? I'm not sure. But I always use an awl. If you have an awl, I can't find mine right now, but if you have an awl, you can use it as well. Because I'm just spreading the glue, I can use the scissors, but then you want to clean it off right after you're done, so it doesn't set on the scissors. Alright, so all I'm doing is just spreading it around and making sure that the glue, oops, sorry about that. Making sure that the glue actually touches stuff. And you don't want the glue to show up on the top. If it does, push it back in, because if it shows up on the top, it may stain the project that you're working on. And you don't want that. You don't want it to look tacky. You want it to look as clean as possible. Alright, so that is done. I'm just doing the other side, just basically kind of spreading it around, but within each hole. Alright. Like I said, you don't want to see the glue on top, so there it is, it's done. I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit. Let it dry a little bit, and then we can go ahead and attach the frame. I only put the glue on the frame, not the material itself. I used to put it on the material, but then it was hard to, sometimes if I wasn't able to push all the spots that I could glue, push it into the frame, then it would stick out like a sore thumb. We don't want that. Alright. So, okay. Are you ready? I'm ready. So, ooh, look at this bag. It's it's already so cute. Oh my god, it's got that orange. And if you come from the bottom, you get that blue, like the navy blue green. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Okay, I'm more excited about this than you are probably. Anywho, so we are ready to attach the frame, which I need to move this a bit so you can see. Alright, so first things first, you open the bag and then you open the frame and try to push the bag into the frame before you get started. So the bag will sit inside the frame, and you just try to align it to the edges. So remember how I said slow down on the edges. This is where the edge is. Let me move this camera a little bit this way. Okay, there. Alright, so remember how we talked about the edges? I usually do the edge first. So I will try to push this in using my seam ripper. I really recommend that you use an awl for this, because an awl is a lot stronger than this. I have broken so many seam ripper because of this. I kid you not. So all I'm trying to do is just to push this fabric into the frame, and you want to push it in as far as you can, because the farther it gets, the better it'll stay. Alright, so one side is pushed in, and I always do both of them at the same time, just because that is the corner and they all have to look perfect. I wish my light was on now, because you can't really see. I don't know if you can see it, but alright, so one side is, both sides are pushed in. Right there. So I pushed in both sides. Now I have to put in the screws on those two sides. So I use a Hyper Tough. I use a Hyper Tough drill. It's an 18 volts, and it's a cordless drill, so I can just go and charge the bottom, and then it comes back and work like magic. And you can change the driver size or the type. Alright, so all I'm doing is just inserting in the middle. There are holes on this frame already, so all you need to do is just to insert and then drill. Alright, so first part is done, you can see. So now I want to turn to the other side and push this one through as well. I always do the corners first because that's where you can work your way into the middle as opposed to coming from the middle out to the corners. Sometimes it may not turn out right. I've done this so many times, so I've come up with ways that works for me, and if something else works for you, that's perfect. You just do whatever works for your process. Alright, so I'm able to push in one side of it. Now I need to work on this side. It's a bit of a muscle work. But it's totally worth it at the end. Alright, that is done. Just to make sure they're all in there. All I need to do now is to, as you can see, oh, you can see that. Just to insert the screws on the 2 holes right there. One is done. Here comes the other. You want to make sure your screws are sitting in the middle. If it's not, then it may be a little tough to work it in. But I love the drill because it just does the job very fast. Okay? Alright, so that's done. Now we have to tackle the corners. So we're done with the middle part, and then we want to do the corners and then just work our way into the middle. So all you're doing is just try to push this in and just set it the way that you want it. I have Heart to Heart playing on the background. I love that show. They're so cute together. And sometimes I'm not even listening because I just need that background noise. Alright, so one corner is done. Remember how I said don't have any glue on? If you do, it turns white. So you don't want that. You want it as clean as possible. Alright, so all I'm trying to do now is just to make sure that the corners are in and they're beautiful. See how that is? It went in very nice. Then I'll do the other corner before I drill both of them in. Ooh, okay. Ooh, yes. All right. My shoulder gets tense a little bit after that. drill's a bit heavy. But it gets the job done. This is what happens when you're not sitting in the middle. It just keeps spinning and then it won't sit. Alright, that one was a tough one. Let's look at this side. Alright, so one side is done. You can see all the screws are in for that side. Now we're going to work on this side. Alright, so this one looks like it's almost done. I'm gonna do this side as well. Once you finish the corners, you're almost done with the bag. It's that simple. I won't say it's that simple, but you can do it. It's a lot of bits of work that goes in to different parts of it, so once you get the hang of it, it's not as bad. Alright. You want to push it in as much as you can, just because when the screws go in, they hold the bag in place. And so pushing it all the way in will secure the bag to the frame. Plus we put some glues in there, so that's another good thing. Because not only is the glue going to hold onto the bag, but the screws will keep it secure. So that's really why I like this frame, and I use it a lot. Yep. Alright. It may just take some work sometimes just to get the screws in. Alright, so that corner is done as well. This corner is done. Now we want to work on the middle. The middle is quite easy because the corner is already set for you, so you just want to work it in and spread it out enough to fit the frame. So we're going to start with this side. You see this like a whole big space right there? We want to fit that into the frame. So what I do is I just push it slowly in. Alright, So you push it in and then you try to squeeze it in as much as you can to give room for this portion to fit in the frame. Okay, so that is done. As you can see, I was able to fit the whole thing in there. But you just want to make sure that they look okay. Oops. This is why I don't use my seam ripper, because you may not survive this. Alright, so that is done. And also you want to check on the outside what it looks like first before you start drilling. So that's what it would look like outside. So it's really nice. I like how it's looking right now. I forgot to tell you, the base to this gorgeous sequence is velvet, so it's super duper soft. Alright, so that's done. Now we want to put the last two screws to hold the center. You may have to apply some pressure to the bag while you're putting the screws in. This happens a lot. I'm just gonna turn it upside down so I can set this portion down. That way it helps me put the screws in. So the screws are done for that side, and now we go to the other side. One thing I wanted to mention was what holds this frame together is this magnets right here. So there are 4 magnets total that once you close the back, it just snaps and it closes. And you just open it very easily. So once that is done, now we want to finish this other side. So I'm doing right now is just to push it in. Alright, so we have some in. Just gonna tweak it a little bit so that they can sit right. You're just pushing it and spreading it out to make sure it sits comfortably in the frame. Okay? And that's basically what I'm trying to do now. Just to make sure that you push all the edges to the top stitch. You don't want to see any of the top stitch thread. Alright, so that's done. And that's what it looks like. Now I need to attach the screws. And we're done. Oh Lord. This one may be a little harder to get in because of the corner right here. So I may have to do it from this end. Voila! It is done! Woo, this is beautiful. We have blue, soft, cotton lining fabric in here. Oh my god, this bag is amazing. Woo! See? when you finish something like this and you look at it, it's like, I did that. Can you imagine? Oh my God. It's so beautiful. I love it. Woo. Okay. Maybe I'm a little too excited about this, but can you imagine what this looks like? Like you walk into a party with this and everybody's like, I want one of that. Oh my God, it's beautiful. The bag is basically done. It's got that zipper pocket inside. Isn't that beautiful? That's gorgeous, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh. Woohoo. Okay. Well, this was really nice, and I can't wait to do more projects because I'm really excited about this. So this is the other one that I'm working on right now, and I will make the top's already done, but I just need to make a lining and do the same process and attach it. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining me. This was really fun, and I hope you have a wonderful day.